It's another edition of Behind the Mic with AudioFile magazine. I'm Joe Reed. Alex Richey is with me. Hello, Alex.
Hello.
What are we going to talk about today?
So today we're going to talk about Bat Eater and Other Names for Cora Zeng. This is by Kylie Lee Baker, and it's read by Natalie Naudus.
Oh, I love Natalie Naudus.
Oh, me too.
She did The Breakup Pact, which is this charming romance pretty recently, and she's a writer.
Oh, that I didn't know.
Yeah, she wrote Gave the Prey
Oh,
Away
that's a good title.
and narrated it too. So she really is multi-talented. So tell me about this book.
Sure. So today is publication day for this one. So I'm happy to talk about it on the day it's going to be coming out to the public. So we're used to Natalie Naudus being a fantastic narrator for things like romance or like contemporary books or YA books, but this is her first time doing a horror novel. And the skills that she brings to it really set this audiobook apart. It's the reason it won an Earphones Award. So this happens to be the author's first take at an adult novel. Typically, Kylie Lee Baker writes YA historical fantasy, but
Ah,
this one's a contemporary horror that takes place right at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic.
okay. So what's the premise?
So Cora Zeng witnesses her sister Delilah get pushed in front of a moving train and murdered in a hate crime, and the murderer shouts "Bat Eater."
Is this in New York City?
Yes, New York City,
Oh
so
god,
right down where the subway is.
that is like everyone I mean, I'm from New York, that is like worst fear.
Absolutely. I definitely have been in the subway system in DC, which I think is a little bit similar, and that is definitely something that's been on my mind.
Go ahead, so I'm already unnerved.
Uh-huh. So Cora has since become a crime scene cleaner, unbothered by the blood and gore after what happened to her sister. And while she's cleaning crime scenes, she begins to notice an increase in the unexplained murders of Asian women and the bat corpses that are left at the crime scenes. And then eventually her sister's restless spirit starts to lurk in her apartment. So it just keeps building on the horrors here.
So this is really looking at the racism at Asians, especially Chinese, during the COVID pandemic, and using horror as a way of approaching that and exploring it.
Horror is a great genre for approaching things like racism or other
Mhm.
just sort of social situations.
I agree. I'm finding that out more and more. It's really, really interesting because I, I don't like horror because I don't like being scared. But it's interesting when it's done using social implications, as a way of getting at social situations.
And it's the genre where it can take the idea of like, oh gosh, what if this, and then crank it to the extreme.
Hmm. Okay, so go on. Tell me about Natalie because she is so good in everything she does.
So you've probably listened to plenty of Natalie Naudus audiobooks that really get at your heart. Just she wrenches your heart through these emotional characters. And she does that here too. She can really get into the head of Cora in a way that just really gets you immersed in her intrusive, obsessive thoughts and her fear. I was really, really uncomfortable, but in a good way. Uncomfortable in the way that I like to be uncomfortable while listening to horror. And she also does a really good job with the banter between Cora and her crime scene cleaning coworkers as they're sort of figuring out what's going on and trying to solve this mystery. Natalie Naudus is so multi-talented. It was an amazing audiobook. It did win an Earphones Award for that reason.
Well, shall we hear a little?
Absolutely. So, the sound clip that we're going to hear, this is Cora and her sister Delilah waiting for the subway to take them home. And you'll notice how the writing style really coincides with their narration to set you up to experience just how ominous this feels.
Okay. This is Bat Eater and Other Names for Cora Zeng. It's by Kylie Lee Baker, read by Natalie Naudus.
No one takes the subway at the end of the world. No one except Cora and Delilah Zeng. Delilah wanders too close to the edge of the platform, and Cora grabs her arm, tugging her away from the abyss of the tracks that unlatches its jaws, waiting. But Delilah settles safely behind the yellow line, and the darkness clenches its teeth. Outside the wet mouth of the station, New York is empty. The China virus, as they call it, has cleared the streets.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yes. I'm getting nervous. And Natalie actually knows how to work with that material so well to build the tension
Oh, yeah.
and really, really move that narrative forward in such a compelling way. She just hooks you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the level of violence, level of gore. Where are we in this?
Well, our main character is a crime scene cleaner, so as you can imagine, it's quite gory. And it's interesting how unbothered she is by that because I'm bothered by that, but the narration just sort of is so good at just telling you the story in a way that keeps it a little bit more neutral. So even I found myself handling it pretty well. But there's also a lot of racism against East Asians, so you'll get that from a lot of the characters in the novel.
Okay. Those things are both good for listeners to be aware of. And earphones?
Yes, yes, an earphone award winner. Natalie Naudus is not new to winning earphones awards, that's for sure.
Indeed, she is not. She really is an amazingly talented narrator. That is Bat Eater and Other Names for Cora Zeng. It's by Kylie Lee Baker, read by Natalie Naudus. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you tomorrow, Alex.
See you tomorrow.
Okay. Dreamscape is the publisher of today's episode of Behind the Mic. Dreamscape publishes audiobooks from authors like Frida McFadden, Kirsten Proby, and Stasia Stark. Explore their full catalog at dreamscapepublishing.com. And don't forget to stop by AudioFile magazine, where you can find hundreds of reviews, as well as interviews and articles about authors and narrators, and videos of some of your favorite narrators discussing the books they perform. That's at audiofilemagazine.com. I'm Jo Reed. I'll talk to you tomorrow.